Oh boy, this is about to be a doozy. Let me just say this. For the wild area, I'm only going to be covering 4 of the areas that you are able to go now. However, these 4 areas themselves are, well, beasts in their own right. Why? These areas, 4 of them combined, have a total of 56 unique Pokemon that they can actually spawn for you to catch. 56! What the heck? And Bunnelby is the first Pokemon that we're going to be talking about. It's a digging Pokemon, which actually makes sense. When it evolves, it does get a subtype of ground, so, good digging Pokemon indeed. Its stats are, well, mostly veered towards speed, but of course, HP and defense are pretty good. Its abilities, Cheek Pouch and Pickup are, well, you'll see. Cheek Pouch restores 33% of the Pokemon's maximum HP after it consumes a berry. The berry effect will go off first, and then the Pokemon will heal 33% more HP. Which is actually good. It's a good heal. It's a really good heal. And of course, the other ability is Pickup. At the end of the turn in which another Pokemon uses a one-time use item, even if it is using Fling or Natural Gift, which are 2 moves that allow you to throw your item that your Pokemon is holding towards your enemy to do damage. The Pokemon with Pickup will then collect that item if they're not holding anything. This is a good way to gain items if you know that your opponent has Fling, but you know, we'll see how the Let's Play goes, because I don't think there's any Pokemon that legitimately would use Fling or even has an item to Fling in the first place. And of course, its hidden ability, which I think it's obtained through breeding. I still have no idea how hidden abilities work. I apologize for this. Huge Power doubles the attack stat of the Pokemon with this ability. It's so simple, but yet so destructive. And the only reason I say it is destructive is because of the fact that Bunnelby, and even its evolved form Diggersby, most of the amazing moves that it has, which is including of ground type moves, normal moves, and even a flying move for who knows why reason, are all physical moves. They're under the category of physical. So things like Earthquake, which already do 100 power of damage, increase that by double? What the heck? And of course, it evolves to Diggersby at level 20, gaining the subtype of ground, which makes it weak to water, but of course, I'll only talk about Diggersby in another time, when he appears. Minccino, the Chinchilla Pokemon, is another normal type that will appear in the wild area. Well, basically, it's just a better Bunnelby, honestly. Like, if you really wanted to get a normal type in this area, I would rather you go for Minccino over here. Why? Just look at the base stats. They don't lie. HP and attack are already superior in every way, but all in all, Bunnelby is kind of being overshadowed by this. And its speed, look at that. Look at that. It's 75. That's insane. And being another Pokemon that's only weak to fighting, this thing is a way better Pokemon compared to Bunnelby. But of course, if you prefer the subtype of ground on your Diggersby, then sure, go ahead. Because Minccino, when it evolves into Chinchino, it doesn't exactly gain a subtype. It's still normal, so hey, I mean, do you, honestly. As for moves that it learns, it's kind of, well, I mean, it's what you expect the normal type Pokemon to learn. It learns 2 fairy moves that doesn't exactly do anything other than hinder the enemy and lowers their stats. But other than that, the normal type moves that it learns are pretty powerful. Especially Last Resort, which is like 140 damage, including not even before calculating the fact that it gains stab due to its typing. Now for its 2 abilities, Cute Charm. When a Pokemon with this ability is hit by a move that makes contact, basically any move that's physical, which is somehow a thing with Earthquake. Let's talk about that in another video. But there is a 30% chance that the attacking Pokemon will be infatuated if it's of the opposite gender of the Pokemon with its ability. In layman's terms, you hit me, 30% chance you'll fall in love with me if you're the opposite gender. Easy. Now for Technician. Technician increases the power of moves that have power 60 or less by 50%. Most of Minccino's moves, except Last Resort, are below 60 power. And well, increasing that by 50% is amazing. A move like Pound could... I'm so childish. A move like Pound... Can I get through saying it? Oh, I can't tell if this is the fact that I had to do 56 more of these or just the fact that I'm losing my mind. A move like Pound increasing its already base power of 40 by 50%. That's 60% of damage. I mean, that's 60 damage. 60 power of damage on just 1 pound. Crap. And its hidden ability Skilling. It maximizes the number of times a multi-strike move hits. This would be such a good move if Nintendo would make it so that multi-strike moves would actually help in raid battles. I will talk about this in a video. But oh my god, this pisses me off to no end. Pokemon with this skill become so useless because raid battles are not like making us really strategize, and I'll talk about that on a video where I just do a bunch of raid battles. But yeah, and of course to evolve it, you need to use a shiny stone. Simple stuff. Anyway, moving on. Actually, I'm gonna have to retract my statement from earlier. Actually, you can get Diggersby in this wild area. The only problem is you have to find him in a form that's known as a strong looking Pokemon form, where it will just be by its lonesome in the middle of a field, not with no grass, and it will just be strolling around. But let's talk about him anyway. Diggersby, the evolution of Bunnelby. Look at him. He becomes a thick, fat boy. And of course, well, its ears suddenly become 2 more appendages, which is actually pretty creepy. So I mean, Diggersby, it gains the gains the subtype of ground when it evolves, which makes it now weak to water as well. But well, good thing. Actually, it makes it weak to like 4 different things. So yeah, pick your poison. It's now weak to fighting, water, grass, and ice. Oh boy, that's a lot of types all of a sudden. You'd rather stay at Bunnelby, but you know, you don't learn good moves. Its moveset after becoming Diggersby becomes way more superpower. From learning moves like Hammer Arm to, well, the aforementioned Earthquake, except now, Earthquake is way more useful as a Diggersby because Diggersby has a subtype ground, making it so that Earthquake does way more damage than it should be. And it's already 100 power. But unfortunately, that's where the good things end. As you can see from his stats, attack, defense, and special defense seem to be, well, the biggest part about it. Even though I don't get why the speed is more than the attack, because previously, its attack was way more than everything else other than speed. I don't get it. It got fatter, but yet the speed stayed the same. Anyway, its abilities are the same as it did a Bunnelby, so nothing to say there. Let's move on to the next Pokemon. Moving on to the little grass-type Pokemon of this area, Bounsweet, the fruit Pokemon. Doesn't that thing look so edible? Anyways, base stats are pretty okay because this is a triple evolution line, a triple stage evolution line. The first evolution would normally have stats that look like that. I mean, if you can see from the starters, it's roughly the same except they're more balanced out. Except for the normal Pokemon, they're more balanced out. HP and defense and special defense seem to be a thing about this, but I mean, then again, it's a fruit Pokemon. Any Pokemon that looks like that normally has amazing defense stats, but terrible speed apparently. Holy crap. Anyway, its abilities Leaf Guard and Oblivious. Leaf Guard prevents status conditions in harsh sunlight, and so as long as you have the sun, nothing can hurt you. Oblivious. The Pokemon is oblivious. That keeps it from being infatuated or falling for taunts. Basically, every harem anime main protagonist, and completely oblivious to anything in the world. And as for Sweet Veil, is its hidden ability. It prevents itself and the ally Pokemon from falling asleep. So basically, anything on your side of the battle cannot fall asleep, which is actually good considering sleep is the worst status condition because you can never tell when you'll wake up, and it wastes so many turns of you just sitting there going. Anyway, it evolves to Steenie at level It evolves to Steenie at level 18, and then afterwards to Sarina at at pretty much any level as long as it knows Stomp. I'll talk about Steenie at a different time because she doesn't actually appear here. And I can say she because this Pokemon is 100% female. As for its weaknesses, it's weak to Flying, Poison, Bug, Fire, and Ice. And those weaknesses don't actually change when it evolves, because when it evolves, it still stays as a Grass type. So, pretty weak. So, basically, according to the wiki, Grassy Seed is consumed when its defense increases by 1 stage, but only if the Pokemon is on a field that is grassy terrain activated. I don't understand this item, but I guess you can see it being useful. I mean, it sells for like 2,000 bucks, so if you can't find a good use for it on a Pokemon, you can definitely sell it for some bank. Yeah, that's pretty much it for Bounsweet over here. But yeah, knowing Stomp is a very interesting line, even though it looks like it should be a fighting type at the end there, but oh well. Moving on to the hardest boy of Generation 1. The meme of Generation 1, Metapod, the Cocoon Pokemon. Look at him in all its cocoon glory. Its base stats are pretty okay. Like I said, Pokemon that look like this normally have insane defense, and this thing does not hold back on insane defense. HP and defense, look at that. So big. Although you might see that this thing has one big problem. Even though going through its evolution is pretty fast, the only moves it learns are Harden and Harden. Unless you get it from a Caterpie who knows. Sorry, I'm looking at Harden and it just little 5-year-old just came out and just like hee hee. But yeah, Harden is the only move it will learn if you catch it here, which makes leveling up very difficult if you were in the older generations. But now, due to the fact that XP is shared, evolving this Metapod is easy as 1, 2, dun 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 dun. Okay, its ability is only Shed Skin. Hey, first generation Pokemon, not much to say. Shed Skin, it has a 1/3 chance of curing the Pokemon of non-volatile status conditions, basically burn, poison, all that jazz. Of course, I don't think it works on Frozen. We'll see. We'll see how it goes at some point. It evolves from Caterpie at level 7, and then it evolves to Butterfree at level 10. Pretty standard stuff. It's a bug type. Bug types normally have really fast evolutionary lines. So, that's Metapod. And moving on to the dankest Pokemon in this area, Oddish, the weed Pokemon. I would make a joke here, but it's been overdone a lot. Grass poison type. Pretty amazing typing actually, because it makes it so that it's not weak to poison, which is its main problem. But because it decided to not be weak against poison, it is now weak to only, and I quote, Flying, Fire, Psychic, and Ice. It could have been, you know, not affected by poison, but it had to have a subtype of poison. I'm not complaining about it, honestly. I love the subtype of poison. I love poison types. Its ability is only 2, but 1 is a hidden ability, which is great. Chlorophyll is its main ability. It boosts the Pokemon's speed during harsh sunlight. And of course, its hidden ability, Run Away. I'm pretty sure I don't have to explain what Run Away is. For those of you who said yes, you are jokers, and I love you for it. Its stats, well, look at those special base stats. Special attack and special defense are off the charts. Which makes sense. I mean, it's a weed. How fast could it be? You know, that speed stat actually makes sense to me. It has a 5% chance of holding an Absorb Bulb. An Absorb Bulb is basically when the holder is hit by a water type move, the holder will first consume the Absorb Bulb, which is a one-time use item, and the special attack of said Pokemon will increase by 1 stage. Pretty cool actually, because well, it's not like Oddish has, you know, very low special attack to begin with. And accompanying that special attack stat, a lot, and I mean a lot of its moves are special base. And of course, a lot of the moves are also grass, making it Stab. Yeah, but it's gonna be fun to It's gonna be a fun time. And as a little bit of a plus, this little thing can learn Moonblast, a fairy type move, making it so that this thing could literally fight a dragon type. No problem. Anyway, from Oddish, it evolves to Gloom at level 21. Pretty okay actually, honestly, due to the fact that now levels are shared. I mean, XP is shared, my bad. And then from Gloom, you have two choices. If you have a Leaf Stone, you can turn it into a Vileplume. If you have a Sunstone, you can turn it into a Blossom. We'll talk about those guys when we come to it, or if I decide to come back to the wild area, because they actually come back at a later point. So that is Oddish. Ah man, at some point I'm just gonna kill myself. Anyway, Budew is the next Pokemon, the Bud Pokemon. Did you expect anything more? It literally says Bud in the first part of its name. Budew is actually a grass poison type. Yeah, can't tell, right? It looks like a pure grass, but hey, not complaining. Its hidden ability and abilities are Natural Cure, Poison Point, and hidden ability being Leaf Guard. I feel like some of these, well, abilities, I will say so much that you guys would just close your eyes and be able to read it out in your brain. So that's good. Anyway, Natural Cure is one of the abilities. All status conditions will be healed when the Pokemon switches out. That's actually insane because the only status condition in game that you can actually heal by switching out is Confusion. So doing this, your Pokemon can literally escape from any status condition, which is amazing. And for Poison Point, it has a 30% chance that when the attacking Pokemon attacks, and I believe makes contact, the Pokemon will become poisoned. But of course, the ability cannot affect Poison and Steel type, because Poison types can be poisoned, Steel types also cannot be poisoned. And of course, multi-strike moves that make contact, actually each hit has a 30% chance for you to get poisoned. So if your enemy has something like the Minccino's hidden ability, where it makes it so that all 5 shots hit, good luck. 30% chance each time, one of the chances you're bound to get poisoned. Anyway, its stats are also very special based, but special defense. Woo-hoo! Look at that. And anyway, it also has a held item, 5% chance of getting a poison barb. Gee, I wonder what that does. Okay, before you guys say anything, no, it does not poison the Pokemon because that would be stupid. The poison barb boosts the power of the holder's poison type moves by 20%. It used to be in Generation 2 and 3 by 10%, but they increased it, which is good. Poison types more love! Anyway, also it's, well, weak to the same thing that Oddish is. Flying, Fire, Psychic, and Ice. Duh. But, here's one interesting thing about Budew. It only learns 4 moves, and you don't even have to level up to learn said 4 moves. It learns Absorb, Growth, Stun Spore, and Worry Seed. But I say learn like it's a good thing. It doesn't learn it. Once you catch it, it gets it from level 1 is what I'm trying to say. Of course, you can always teach it TMs, but I feel like if you decide to use a Budew on your team, by the time you actually get a good TM, it would have evolved twice. So I'm pretty sure you don't have to worry about Budew only having 1 skill. 4 of those moves at his disposal. To get from Budew to Roselia, however, is gonna be a long climb. You need to get his friendship up to a certain point in the daytime. What? Well, there's always the item Shell Bell, which makes it, well, much easier to up the, you know, no, the Soothe Bell. Sorry, not the Shell Bell. I'm thinking of something else. The Soothe Bell is actually a good way to increase its friendship, but as long as you don't let it die in battle, it will be quite a fast kind of thing. And then from Roselia, you can turn it into a Rose Rage simply by finding a shiny stone somewhere on the field. Now, as you can see, the breed holding the Rose Incense thing, that is so that you can gain more moves for Budew, because Pokemon have a chance to learn different moves if you decide to breed it. Like for example, Budew on this hand, if you decide to breed a Budew out, it has a chance of gaining Extra Sensory, Life Dew, Razor Leaf, Sleep Powder, and Synthesis. Already improving the moveset by a big chunk. But yeah, that's it for Budew. Pretty good Pokemon, honestly. Like, I wouldn't pick it over Oddish, but if you prefer the more tanky of the two, yeah, Budew's the way to go. Moving on to the next Pokemon that you're wondering why I'm not talking about is pre-evolution first, but because the pre-evolution appears, just not here. Also, I'll be sure to mark out on the screen where you can find these Pokemon. I'm sure it's pretty late for me to say this now, but I will mark on the screen where to find all these Pokemon. Anyway, Nuzleaf, the wily Pokemon. I almost said Willy Pokemon, honestly. And the Willy Pokemon. And due to it being a second stage evolution, its stats would always look like that. HP and attack are so huge. Special defense and speed, special attack and speed. This thing is the epitome of sweeper. Heck care about defense, all the way with attack, giving it somewhat a lot of HP to work with, and its speed being decent. It's good. But what makes it better is the fact that it knows Early Bird as an ability. A Pokemon will wake up from sleep twice as fast. Twice, guys. That's times 2 of 0, because there's literally so stupid. Sometimes it feels like there's 0 chance of your Pokemon waking up. But I digress. If your luck is good with Nuzleaf, you could wake up the next turn. Its also other ability is Chlorophyll. It boosts the Pokemon speed stat in harsh sunlight. You've heard it before. And its hidden ability, Pickpocket. Gee, I wonder what Pickpocket does. Let's see together. Steals an item from an attacker that make direct contact. Effect held items will be stolen after the effect is activated. Basically, if a Pokemon were to attack you and its held item goes off to increase its stats or whatever, Nuzleaf will go ahead and take it and then shoot it back at him for the exact same effect. Pretty stupid. And of course, it has Power Herb, which is a 5% chance of a Nuzleaf in the wild having it. And what does Power Herb do? It is the most insane item is what it is. Any move in the game that requires you to charge something up. Take for example a Solar Beam where it takes 1 turn to charge up and the 2nd turn to attack. This item makes it so that it happens on the same turn. So if your opponent isn't careful, you could just one-shot them using any of these moves. From Bounce to Dig to Dive to Free Shock to Geomancy to Phantom Force, Sky Attack, and even the Solar Beam, which is something that Nuzleaf can definitely learn. Now, as for the moves that it learns based on its stats, it's pretty okay. It has a good combination of physical and special moves that kind of balance it out. And it's not overly powerful. It is overly powerful. What am I saying? But the subtypes gives it a bit of a disadvantage over the previous 2 grass types that we have seen. Whereas those 2 had 4 weaknesses, Nuzleaf over here is weak to Fighting, Flying, Poison, Bug, Fire, Ice, and Fairy. Granted, it is immune to Psychic compared to the last 2, and it is resistant and takes half damage from Ground, Ghost, Water, Grass, Electric, and Dark. Oh man, I'm sorry, this is the worst reading ever, but it's just I keep replaying in my head. You got 50 more to go. Yeah, that's pretty much it for Nuzleaf. You can also see that you can go from C dot to Nuzleaf at level 14, which is pretty close considering that you get Nuzleaf at a pretty high level in this area. And you also get C dot at a pretty high level in this area. And as for to get to Shiftry, all you need to do is get a little Leaf Stone. Put it on its head. Then the song will play. Moving on. Actually, wait, before moving on, Nuzleaf is a Sword exclusive. So for those of you playing Sword, congratulations. Okay, moving on to the next Pokemon in question. This is a Shield exclusive Pokemon in this area, which is Lotad, the Water Weed Pokemon. Grass Water. Interesting typing. Its stats, well, it's a first evolution. Cut it some slack. Special defense and HP are pretty good. Special attack is also kind of okay. And its ability Swift Swim and Rain Dish. For Swift Swim is during rain, the speed stat of the Pokemon with this ability is doubled. Considering its base speed is 30 and increases from there, double the speed is insane. And Rain Dish. During rain, a Pokemon with Rain Dish will regain 1/16th of its maximum HP at the end of each turn. At the starting and, well, this beginning game and mid game, this may not be great, but when you eventually get your Pokemon to level 100, 1/16 of its HP is nothing to sneeze at. It's actually a lot of HP. And its hidden ability is Own Tempo, which prevents the Pokemon from being afflicted by confusion, even if it's self-inflicted. This thing could literally not ever be confused. I mean, look at this derp. I don't think he can be confused by anything. Life is great when you're a Lotad. Before moving on to why that hidden move is good, let's talk about his held item that has a 5% chance of appearing. It's the Mental Herb, where it cures the Pokemon of Infatuation, Taunt, Encore, Torment, and Disable. Basically moves that hinder you to do anything. It's actually amazing. But going back to what I was talking about, the moves. As it is now as a Lotad, it doesn't exactly learn moves that would be helped by Own Tempo. But if I remember correctly, in this later evolution, it does learn something that makes Own Tempo pretty useful. It evolves to Lombre at level 14, and then from Lombre to Ludicolo, all you need is a little Water Stone and a little bit of magic. Oh, by the way, since it's its evolution line, and I think it's bad that I just leave the evolution for like a later time, I think I'd rather do it now. So Lombre, the Jolly Pokemon, Grass, Water, same as its pre-evolution. Nothing much to say about it. Its abilities are of course the same. However, it does learn more moves now that it has evolved. It also has the same Mental Herb on. But hey, lo and behold, the Lombre line are only weak to 3 types: Flying, Poison, and Bug. Pretty good, actually. Lombre learns so much good stuff, but still, no move that actually is affected by Own Tempo. In fact, honestly, I don't even know why the Lombre family knows Own Tempo. Maybe its final evolution, Ludicolo, will tell me that answer, but for now, it's okay as a Pokemon, but Own Tempo makes no sense. Anyway, going to one of the flying types of this area. Nah, I'm not even joking, it is a flying type. Wingull. The seagull Pokemon. Bet you didn't see that coming. Water flying type. Look at the stats. Look at that speed. Super fast. Yeah, super fast Pokemon. And that special attack stat is also nothing to not be worried about, because with that speed and that attack stat, it's pretty hard to not be scared of that thing. Anyway, it has a 50% chance of holding a pretty wing, which unfortunately, after it being 50%, I have to say that it has no effect other than to be sold. Yeah, that's why its chance is so high. It's only weak to 2 types, Rock and Electric, which is pretty decent, pretty okay. I don't mind a flying type with Rock and Electric, even though it's ×4 weak to Electric because of flying in water. But honestly, you could just switch it out. You don't have to keep it on the field, you know. Its ability is Keen Eye and Hydration. Keen Eye prevents other Pokemon from lowering this Pokemon's accuracy. Sand Attack, go away. Hydration, heal status condition if it's raining. Yep, if it's raining, poison, burn, anything can piss off. Rain Dish is its hidden ability, which is gains 1/16 of its HP when it rains, every turn also. It evolves to Pelipper at level 25. Now as for its stats, it learns a ton of special moves, so its attack stat being that low is not that bad, but at the same time, the moves that do count on attack are also decent. Wing Attack and Air Slash, actually no, sorry, Wing Attack and Quick Attack are the only 2 like physical moves that Wingull can learn. Pelipper will probably learn way more, but you know, for now, let's talk about Wingull over here. And speaking of electric types, here we have Joltik, the electric bug type. An attaching Pokemon. It's a spider with 4 legs. that is somehow cute. I feel like it's based off Lucas, you know, the little talking spider, little cutie. Anyway, the stats of this thing, well, it's actually better than most bug types. Like, better than the Metapod, definitely. Special attack and speed are pretty okay, and HP is nothing to laugh at. Defense is also pretty awesome. Its abilities, Compound Eye and Unnerve. Compound Eye increases the accuracy of moves used by the Pokemon with this ability by multiplying the original accuracy by a factor of 1.3. What does that mean? If you have a move that doesn't hit 100% of the time, it is going to hit 100% of the time, where it takes the accuracy of that move. Take, for example, a move that has 85% accuracy. You take 85% and multiply by 1.3, then take whatever number that is and plus 85%. That is now the chance that you have to hit a Pokemon, which might as well be 100% because of this ability, which is insane. And then it also knows Unnerve, making the opposing Pokemon unable to eat berries. The Bunnelby counter, you can't eat berries. And its hidden ability is Swarm, which is honestly the bug equivalent of all the starters' main ability, where it powers up a bug type move. No, it powers up bug type moves when the Pokemon is low on HP. Yep. It evolves to Garvantula at level 36. Pretty okay level for a single evolution bug line. It does learn a sick amount of moves. Discharge is of course an amazing move to use, because it literally is an AoE, an area of effect move. It hits all. And if your ally is something that either heals off of electricity or isn't affected by electric types, you have a really good double battle ahead of you. And well, keeping the electrifying theme of this Pokedex of this line, we have Electrike, the lightning Pokemon, literally the lightning Pokemon. Base stats, special attack and speed are off the charts. I mean, it's the lightning Pokemon, I'm not sure what you really expect from it. Being only weak to ground type actually makes it really amazing, and being resisted to steel, flying, and electric are also welcomed. Its two abilities, Static and Lightning Rod. Static, when the opponent hits this Pokemon will give it. There is a 30% chance that the attacking Pokemon will be paralyzed. Of course, this also can affect ground types. Yeah, ground type Pokemon who are immune to electric type attacks can be paralyzed by this move. Its other move, Lightning Rod, well, basically every electric type moves will come into Electrike. Say you're in a double battle, an enemy uses Discharge. Every single bit of damage that would be done to your side of the field will be absorbed by Electrike over here, and it will boost its already humongous special attack stat, which is insane because most of the moves it learns are special. Are special. Yeah, you heard me right the first time. I'll say it a third time. Are special based. It evolves to main Electric at a pretty good level of 26, which compared to Galvantula is a welcome thing. Oh, but also I forgot to talk about its hidden ability, Minus. Boosts the special attack of the Pokemon. Hey, keeping it with the theme of special attack being Beast. If the ally has plus or minus ability also in battle. This is an interesting ability because not a lot of Pokemon have minus and plus as an ability, and plus and minus are not in this game. So plus and minus, it doesn't matter if you have a plus and plus Pokemon, a minus and minus Pokemon, a plus minus, whatever. As long as you have another Pokemon, both Pokemon will have their special attack stat increased by a ton. Or one stage is pretty much what they usually say. So, double battles, a lot of recommendation to go for double battles. So, moving on to the next Pokemon. I'm having issues. Moving on to the next Pokemon, Baltoy, the Clay Doll Pokemon, which is actually really funny considering its evolution is called Clay Doll. Pretty cute without one extra L. It is a ground psychic type. Just saying that, I'm so happy because I loved Clay Doll during I believe it's Generation 3 when it was introduced. I love the Claydol. It was always on my team no matter how many times I replayed, how many Pokemon or how many different teams I made. Claydol and Baltoy were always there to be my tanks. Look at those stats. Special defense and defense are so high, and speed is high as well, making it such a good Pokemon because it's not only fast, but it's a wall. A defensive wall. How can you go wrong with that? A fast defensive wall, that's cheating. And its ability Levitate, when it floats, because it's floating, it is immune to any ground type move. Any and all ground type moves, in fact. Now, going into its held item. A 5% chance of getting a Light Clay. If the Pokemon holding this item were to use Light Screen, Reflect, or Aura Veil, basically moves that increases the defense of your entire party, the moves will last 8 turns instead of 5. 5 turns is bad enough. 8 turns is cheating. Okay? But oh my god. And of course, if you don't want to use it on your team, you can also sell it for 2,000 Poke Credits. I always gotta tell you guys about the money. It is weak to a lot of types. It is weak to Bug, Ghost, Water, Grass, Ice, and Dark, which is actually pretty okay because there are a lot of other Pokemon in this game who actually counter those. So, hey, just switch out. It is also immune to 2 types. Its own type Ground and Electric type. And it's also resistant to 4 types, which actually make up for the fact it's weak to 6 because it's actually resistant and immune to also 6 types. So, hey, balance. And of course, to go with its amazing special attack stat, this is sarcasm by the way, it learns a bunch of moves, but of course I believe the move that we're all dying to talk about is freaking Self-Destruct. A 2,000 power normal move that, well, causes your Pokemon to die, but at the same time, there's a really high chance of the enemy dying as well. Unless it's late game, don't use Self-Destruct on late game. Late game, the Pokemon will definitely survive it regardless. Unless its defense is crap, but other than that, it will survive. Baltoy will evolve into Claydol at level 36. Pretty okay, honestly. I don't mind this. Baltoy and Claydol, you'll always be somewhere in my heart, guys. I love you guys. Might use you on one team, might not, but we'll see. Mudbray, the next Pokemon, the Donkey Pokemon, is just pure ground type. You can see a problem there, but also a good thing. Light Clay is one of the items that it can hold, but OM Jizzle. Do you guys see what I'm seeing? I'm not gonna zoom in because this thing has a lot of attack. 100 base power of attack and 70 HP, 70 defense, making it a tanky at the same time amazing physical attacker. Its speed may be dog shit, but who cares? Because most of the things that it can learn are freaking physical based. In fact, there is no move it learns that is special other than Mud Slap, which it learns at level 1. Which, in this area, no Pokemon is level 1, so you're fine. Mudbray will definitely not have Mud Slap, and even if it does, just teach it different moves, because every other move it learns is freaking physical. From double kick to high horsepower to even freaking superpower. It also learns Mega Kick, which is, well, same as Superpower, but crappier accuracy. Its 2 abilities, Own Tempo. Own Tempo prevents the Pokemon from being afflicted by confusion, even if it's to itself. Now, does this Pokemon have a move that, well, makes it so that itself is confused? Not in this form. Maybe its evolution will have, but for now, we're talking about Mudbray over here. And its second move, Stamina. When a Pokemon with Stamina is hit by an attack, its defense will raise by 1 stage. But here's the funny thing. Multi-strike moves would make this effect go off every time it hits. So if your opponent is dumb enough to use a multi-hit move on your Mudbray, you now have a physical attacker and wall at your disposal. Because multi-hit moves, any of your Pokemon is competitive and has literally the move, the ability that allows you to hit the maximum amount of times, they're out of luck. They're about to give you 5 increased stages of defense. And to complement that with your attack, they won't do damage to you, and you will utterly destroy them. Amazing. And Inner Focus is its hidden ability. The Pokemon's intensely focused and protects itself from flinching. This Pokemon will never flinch no matter what you do. Fake out anything, who cares, won't flinch. Granted, you might see a problem being a pure ground type. It is weak to water, grass, and ice, while only being immune to electric. Why is it not immune to ground, you may ask? Because it doesn't have Levitate. That's all I can say. It does not have Levitate. The only reason that Baltoy is immune is because it has Levitate. It evolves to Mudsdale at level 30, which is pretty okay level considering that in this game, level EXP is shared across everybody. So leveling up in this game is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Now, moving on to 2 version exclusives again. Vulpix, the sword exclusive Pokemon of this area. Well, second sword exclusive Pokemon of this area. Its base stats are pretty okay. Speed and special defense, not something you would see in a Pokemon that looks like that. Special attack is also pretty decent because it learns a lot of special attacking moves. A lot of them normally. And it also works well with its typing. As for its typing, for some unknown reason, it is only weak to 3 types: ground, rock, and water. Because if you think about it in real life, all 3 of those things will mess up a fire. So honestly, makes sense. In the wild, if you catch one, it has a chance of holding a charcoal. 5% chance to be exact. Charcoal basically increases the... Charcoal basically boosts the power of the holder's fire type move by 20%. Just like Poison Barb, it used to only be 10%, so thank God for that. Yeah, it evolves to Ninetales at around no level. You just need to give it a Fire Stone. Pretty simple stuff. Anyway, for its abilities, Flash Fire makes the Pokemon immune to fire type moves and will activate when hit by one. When activated, the Pokemon's fire type moves is increased by 50%. This is a better Blaze, honestly. Because, well, it goes throughout the entire fight. It's not only during damage step, it increases continuously if your opponent keeps shooting you with fire type moves, which is amazing. And accompanying that with a hidden ability of Drought, Vulpix and any other fire allies that you have will become so scary! Because Drought makes it so that when a Pokemon enters the field, it makes the sunlight turn harsh, basically giving you the effect of sunny day that lasts throughout the whole battle, until of course one of your enemies decide to use a different move. But hey, pretty decent fox Pokemon. Moving on, Growlithe, the puppy Pokemon. Woof indeed. Basically, I wouldn't say it's the Vulpix of its game, because it is a Shield exclusive, of course. But this thing is in a way better than Vulpix if they were both in the same game, of course. I'm comparing them if they were in the same game. Where Growlithe has speed in check, special attack way more, attack a lot. That already in itself makes it so that Growlithe here is already better than Vulpix. Having the same weaknesses too, it really just undermines what I said about Vulpix being okay. It learns a lot of physical moves. In fact, it's the more physical of the 2 Pokemon, which makes sense. Except for the fact that its special attack stat and normal attack stat are literally roughly the same. But it learns some decent moves like Flamethrower and Flare Blitz. Pretty awesome stuff. As for his move, Flash Fire and Intimidate. Flash Fire, you already know what it does. Intimidate, however, is different. When it enters the field, it literally halves the opponent's attack stat. Yeah, fighting any fighting types? Good luck with them. Justified is his hidden ability. When the Pokemon with this ability is hit by a Dark type damaging move and only a Dark type damaging move, its attack will increase by 1 stage. And for Dark type multi-strike moves, well, each hit will activate the abilities. So, yeah, let's hope your enemies aren't as stupid as they look. From Growlithe to Arcanine, you just need a Fire Stone. It's pretty simple. Both of them need the same way to evolve into their next stage. Anyway, moving on from the hot Pokemon, we have literally the ice cream Pokemon. It's Vanillite, the fresh snow Pokemon, even though it should really just be called the ice cream Pokemon. Ice type. We'll see about his weaknesses later. Its stats, well, special attack and special defense are pretty okay, considering that a lot of the fire type moves and any move that would be special would be super effective against it. This is a good thing. Its weaknesses are fighting, rock, steel, and fire. That's it. Pretty simple stuff. It learns a lot of good moves. Ice Beam and Blizzard is something to take note of. Just imagine you looking at a little piece of ice cream and then suddenly it just shoots a blizzard at you. You would pee your pants. Its abilities, Ice Body and Snow Cloak. For Ice Body, it's during a hail, a Pokemon will regenerate 1/16 of its maximum HP at the end of the turn and will take no damage from hail. As for Snow Cloak, during hail, something seems familiar about this. The accuracy of any move used against a Pokemon with this ability is modified by a factor of 4 out of 5. A Pokemon with this ability will take no damage from hail otherwise. Now, this could mean that if an enemy were to hit your Pokemon with a move, its accuracy will be, well, multiplied by 4 over 5, and that will be what you get. Good luck. And its hidden ability, Weak Armor. Physical attacks to Pokemon lower its defense, which is already pretty low, but it increases its speed by 2 stages, literally making it so that its speed will not be much of a problem if you get hit by that. If you get hit by a physical move that increases your speed by double. Oh no, by 2 stages, it's not double, my bad. Anyway, it has a chance to hold the Never Melt Ice, which is basically the ice version of the charcoal, which basically it boosts the power of the holder's ice type moves by 20% and used to be 10%. Seeing a pattern here. It evolves from Vanillite to... Okay, this evolution line has interesting names. From Vanillite to Vanillish at level 35, and then from Vanillish to Vanillux at 47. I don't get it. I mean, at first I thought it was like light, lish, lux, luxury, but you know, I am no expert and I'm losing my mind over these. So bear with me while I go mental. Swinub is another ice type in this area. Ice ground type, the pig Pokemon. Oh boy. Its stats are, well, I mean, it's from a triple stage evolution line, so I'm not gonna give it too much shit for it. But oh man, that is atrocious for what it becomes. But HP, attack, and speed are pretty high, so that's something to look forward to. Weak to fighting, steel, fire, water, and grass. A lot of weaknesses due to that part ground type, but will not be an issue because it does learn moves to counter most of those types. So hey, no problem there. Abilities, Oblivious and Snow Cloak. Oblivious keeps it from being attracted or falling for taunts. For Snow Cloak is the same as Vanillux. During a hail, the opponent, any move used against this Pokemon will be modified by a factor of 4 out of 5 and will take no damage from hail. Now for its hidden ability, Thick Fat. Thick. The Pokemon is protected by a thick layer of fat, which halves the damage of fire type moves and ice type moves. Yeah, halves. Considering that fire is a weakness of Swinub, having a fire type move that already has ×2 damage against you makes the fire type move back to being normally damaging towards your Swinub, which is amazing. Never Melt Ice is also an item that it can hold for up. Future Learn Ice, it does not hold Never Melt Ice. Fix that. Now from Swinub to Poliwhirl, it evolves at level 33. Pretty okay. Considering that from Poliwhirl to Mamoswine, all you need to do is teach your Poliwhirl ancient power, and then afterwards just level up. That's it. And before you ask, when do I get ancient power? Would it be a problem if I told you that it gets ancient power at level 1? Then how do I get it back? In Pokemon Centers, there are now the move rememberers. Just use them. Granted, you can't learn it as a Swinub. You have to actually evolve it into a Poliwhirl before it can do anything about that ancient power move. My god, this is harder than it is. Moving on to the delivery Pokemon Delibird. Ice Flying type. Its stats are, well, pretty decent. It's a single evolution. It has no evolution. So its speed and special attack are so good. Its attack is also pretty decent. Health, a bit of a problem, but no problem there. Special defense and special defense and normal defense are also pretty low. This Pokemon, it has Vital Spirit and Hustle as its ability. The Pokemon is full of vitality and prevents it from falling asleep, which is actually really stupid. I mean, I'll tell you why in a bit. Hustle increases the user's attack stat by 50%, but lowers the accuracy of the user's move by 20. Special moves and status moves are unaffected by Hustle. Basically, only physical moves are affected by this. Special attacks and normal status moves do not get affected. Now, let's talk about its hidden ability, Insomnia. It does the same thing as Vital Spirit. So, if you want a good Delibird, if you ever want a good Delibird, make sure it has the ability Hustle instead of Vital Spirit if it has the hidden ability Insomnia, which you get from breeding. Doesn't actually evolve. It is just Delibird. It is just Delibird. Doesn't have any held items also. It is weak to Rock, Steel, Fire, and Electric. Rock being ×4 weakness, while the others are only ×2 weakness. Bit of a problem there. Bit of a problem. It only learns 2 moves. Present at level 1, and at level 25 it will learn Drill Peck. Granted, you can teach it a bunch of good moves based on TMs, just because it has such amazing stats for attacking. And also, if you breed it one, you could get a bunch of awesome moves. But other than that, I don't see anyone using Delibird, honestly. So yeah, this is Delibird. I guess the only upside I can say is Delibird's shiny looks awesome. It's just a purple belly. Moving on from the last Pokemon, it's Snorunt, the Snow Hat Pokemon. Main type is Ice. Oh boy, this is gonna be another doozy. It can hold an item known as the Snowball. What is a snowball, you ask? Well, I mean, what do you really expect it is? It's a snow... No, I'm just joking. If the user is hit by an ice damaging move, it will take in the snowball, and then its attack will be increased by 1 stage. Pretty good, I guess. You could put it on Pokemon that are normally weak to ice types, but have amazing physical attacks, so that, you know, you can kind of have nice synergy going with the getting hit by ice while at the same time increasing your own attack. It's weak to fighting rock, steel, and fire. Pretty standard stuff for ice types. It learns pretty good moves, but I would assume that you would want to wait for it to be at a later point because currently its stats do not complement the moves at all. It evolves into 2 different Pokemon. Depending on which one you choose, well, then it will probably dictate what kind of moveset you use on it. If you use a Dawnstone on a female Snorunt, you will get Froglet. I apologize for that. Okay, Future nice. Give it a second. Okay, go. If you give a Dawnstone to a female Snorunt, you will get the Pokemon Frostlass. And if you get level 42 on a Snorunt, regardless of gender, you will get Glalie. We'll talk about those at a later time. And the next Pokemon, Dwebble, the Rock-In Pokemon. Not rocking Pokemon, the Rock-In Pokemon. Yep, they went with that name. Bug Rock, something that you don't actually see very often. In Sword and Shield, it has a 5% chance of getting a Heartstone from one. Basically, it's the Poison Barb and, you know, all the other items that basically they increase the power of the holder's rock type move by 20%. And of course, it was 10% before, but hey, now it's better. Look at its defense and tell me this is not what you should be calling a wall. Even though its special defense is complete dog shit, but most of the time, moves that are strong against his type, mainly rock, steel, and water, most of them for rock, if I'm not wrong, are actually more physical than anything else. And also water, not really, which is why you probably should swap out when you see a water type, unless you're really confident you can one-shot it. But its attack stat is not gonna help you much, considering the fact that, well, I mean, most of his stuff is physical, my bad. He has 2 abilities. Strutty is one of them. It cannot be knocked out with a 1-hit. Even 1-hit KO moves cannot knock it out. It will be at 1 HP, so that's good. Shell Armor is the other one, where it cannot receive a critical hit, even if it's a move that guarantees a crit, which is good. It makes it so that, you know, moves that usually ignore every bit of thing in the world cannot actually affect it as much as it used to. And the hidden ability of this is weak armor, where physical attacks will lower its defense by and raises its speed by 2 stages. Considering its defense is that high, losing 1 stage of defense will not hurt you as much. It evolves into Crustle at level 34, which is pretty close. And of course, like I've been saying this entire time, evolving Pokemon now are a breeze because XP share is shared among everybody. How many times do I have to say that before one of you just tells me to shut up about it? Because I won't never shut up about it. Next one is Golett. Golett, the automaton Pokemon. It's a ground ghost type. Look at it. It is what it is, an automaton Pokemon. It's a golem. Its stats are pretty decent, honestly. I mean, attack is his main. Everything else is pretty balanced except for special attack and speed, but hey, how fast do you want a golem to be and how much special attack do you want a golem to have, honestly? Yeah, I mean, defense is pretty okay for a golem Pokemon. And of course, it has Light Clay as a 5% chance of appearing, where Reflect, Aura Veil, Light Screen, all gonna last longer. Really simple stuff. What else is there? His abilities, Iron Fist and Klutz. Iron Fist causes the power of affected punching moves to increase by 20%, which is a good thing. He can learn a lot of punching moves, from the HMs to all the elemental punches to Mega Punch to Dynamic Punch. Basically anything with the word punch, I believe this guy can learn it. And of course, Klutz. This Pokemon can't use any held items, regardless whether it was stolen or already held on the Pokemon. Yeah, it can't use items, so don't put items on it. Honestly, he will drop it on the floor and the enemy might eat it. No, I'm joking, but it's a funny image in my head. And of course, his hidden ability is one very interesting one. It is No Guard. The Pokemon with No Guard can hit Pokemon using moves like Fly and Dive, and it also breaks through Protect and Detect. But the move used must be less than 100%. So base 100% accuracy. So say for example your opponent used Fly. Fly is a move where for the turn that you use it, you fly up into the sky, being untargetable for the rest of that turn. Then the next turn you come swinging down at your enemy and dealing a bunch of damage. In Golett's case, as long as you're using a move that's below 100% accuracy, you can actually hit the Pokemon that is, well, in a way unreachable. So yeah, that's pretty cool for a Pokemon that goes slower, because enemy can fly ahead, and then you can just do a move that hits it even though it's in the sky. So pretty cool. It evolves into Golurk at level 43. Pretty long way to go to get a Golurk, but honestly, getting some of these evolutions are not going to be hard after a certain point because they just spawn in the open. Why I'm not putting them here? Because they don't exist right now. But hey, if you really want a Golurk or a very good tank, this guy's your man. Granted, he can't breed because he's genderless, so shiny hunting for this is gonna be a pain. But honestly, shiny hunting for this is gonna be awesome because it's black. Yeah, it's freaking black. All that blue, like the darker shade of blue, is just black, which I love. I love that shade of black. Anyway, next Pokemon. Going on the more finally having gender side, we have Munna, the Dream Eater Pokemon. Yeah, you give it a name like that, but then you call it the Dream Eater Pokemon. Huh, thanks for Nightmare Fuel. Munna. What can I say about it other than it's a tank? I mean, based on HP and special defense and special attack. It is a tank with good special attack. I mean, it's a psychic type. They're known for their special attack. Weakness only to Bug, Ghost, and Dark. Like the main problems for psychic. I mean, makes sense, I guess. Its abilities are Forewarn and Synchronize. Forewarn shows the opponent's move with the highest power, and if you're in a double battle and if both opponents have a move of the same power, one random move will be chosen, and it will just announce it to the entire field. It's like, hey, this person has that. So yeah, so it is, you know, a good way for you to predict what the opponent would do. It's pretty impressive, actually. And the other one is Synchronize. The attacker will receive the same stats condition if it inflicts a burn, poison, or paralysis to the Pokemon. What does that mean? Say an enemy uses Stun Spore, a move that paralyzes your Pokemon. Synchronize will make it so that the enemy stun spores themselves. Sure, it does not reflect Stun Spore, but it does make it so that even the enemy has to have a taste of their own medicine. One moment. And one of its hidden abilities, Telepathy. This is great in double battles. Basically, the Pokemon with Telepathy will avoid damaging moves used by allies when it hits multiple targets. And also, it also blocks moves, apparently. It also blocks moves that if your ally accidentally targeted on you, you will actually dodge it. Like, yeah, it's amazing. All you need is a Moonstone to turn it into Musharna, the big, lovable, sleepy elephant. At least, is it this elephant, or is that like an armadillo? I don't know what's it based off of. But hey, it's a cute Pokemon, and it's a good special, and it's a good Psychic type, even though there is one better in this area that we'll be going through in a bit. But next is Natu. Not too shabby if I do say so myself. The tiny bird Pokemon, that's a bad pun. A Psychic flying type, looking like a big ass derp. Its stats are, well, what you expect from a bird Psychic type, honestly. Special attack is off the charts along with speed. Attack is also pretty decent, and along with the special defense and defense, making it pretty okay as a bird Pokemon, of course. Its two abilities are Early Bird and Synchronize. Early Bird makes it wake up faster, and Synchronize, well, basically, we share the same pain. Magic Bounce, however, is its hidden ability, which is something new. Magic Bounce will reflect the effect of all stat-lowering status moves. Basically, literally, any move that would affect you that isn't damage-based, like lowering your accuracy, etc. And apparently even Taunt and Torment, so basically, everything that they try to send you to hinder you would just basically bounce right back at them. As for his moveset, Natu learns, well, pretty decent stuff, honestly. A Sidekick at level 35, or, you know, you could just turn into a Xatu, which is the next evolution, and just, you know, see from there, because, honestly, I think you'd rather try and level it up and get better moves from Xatu than Natu, because Natu learns another moves that have no damage, but they do special stuff. But honestly, if you really want to get it in a better position than it is, I think you'd rather evolve it Xatu at level 25, which is actually pretty close, pretty soon. Sorry about the lag there. Anyway, next up, Cherubi. Gee, I wonder what kind of Pokemon it is. Oh, it's a cherry Pokemon. Whoop-de-doo. But it's the 420 number. Grass type, pure grass. No, nothing different there, but pure grass type. Can't wait to see what it's weak against. Miracle Seed is one of the items that you can hold, that it can, well, be holding on its person, where basically grass moves will be increased by 20% in damage, of course. And as for Cherubi itself, look at that special stats, special attack and special defense out the butt. Defense is also high along with HP. The only problem being speed and attack, but honestly, it seems really tanky. Its ability is Chlorophyll, which during harsh sunlight, the speed set of the Pokemon is doubled, literally fixing the speed problem. It is now pretty fast. It evolves to Cherium at level 25. However, Cherium is very interesting, which I'll go over at some point when we find one in the wild. But yeah, also based on moveset, this thing, I don't know. It does learn Morning Sun at level 1, which is like a healing move. It learns a lot of good grass moves too. So really, it's a matter of preference for this one. As for when it's breeding, it does learn a lot of psychic moves. Like, more than it should, honestly. But other than that, it's a pretty good grass type that you can get from the berry trees around this area. So, hey. If you always wanted a Cherubi and couldn't get one in, I believe it's Diamond and Pearl, well, here's your chance. Just shake a berry tree and just let the Pokemon come. Anyway, moving on to another Pokemon that I could never catch for the life of me in Diamond and Pearl. It's Combee, the tiny bee Pokemon. Let me just say this first thing right out. Combee in the anime is freaking awesome. It is like, you see that 3 little things that look like honeycombs. This is Combee. In the anime, there was literally an entire wall of these, and it was the cutest freaking thing I have ever seen in my life. Even though, yeah, it's a bee. It's a cute bee, okay? Flying bug type, so you would assume its speed to be atrocious, and 70 is atrocious, along with pretty tanky stats. I mean, then again, it was in the anime portrayed as a wall, so special defense is pretty high. It's just the attacks and HPs are pretty bad. Its abilities are Honey Gather. Actually, what did I say? Oh, there's only one. Its ability is Honey Gather. A Pokemon with Honey Gather may collect honey after a battle if it's not already holding a held item. The chance starts at 5% and goes up every 10 levels, ending at level 91 to 100 at 50%. So yeah, if you have a level 100 Combee, you can easily, like in 2 battles, get at least 1 honey. Honestly. And its hidden ability is Hustle. Hustle will increase the user's attack stat by 50%, but lowers the accuracy of the user's physical moves. This would be a bad thing if... Well, this is actually a terrible thing because not much physical moves, so this thing doesn't really affect anybody. Special moves and status moves are unaffected by Hustle. So I'm not so sure. Maybe Vespiquen, which is the evolution which you have to find... you have to find a female Combee, and then afterwards, you have to get it to level 21. The leveling isn't the issue, because there is a 12.5 chance that the Combee you find is female. And the 87.5 chance is going to be male. It's probably going to be most of the freaking time you find a Combee. And its catch rate is also atrocious. And by that I mean, it's pretty decent, actually, so yeah. But I would like to point out the fact that from Combee to Vespiquen is 0 to 100. Like, what the heck? The cuteness is gone. It just became that. It's like, jeez. Thank God I'm not doing the Pokedex entries because this is gonna be creepy. Moving on to a very interesting Pokemon to say the least. Tyrogue, the Scuffle Pokemon. It likes to scuffle. This Pokemon. Well, just like Snorunt. Literally balanced stats, but the only reason that it is balanced stats is unlike Snorunt, this thing actually has a reason for this. Basically, and I'm gonna go through this later actually, but its stats are 35 across the board. Its abilities are Guts. It's so gutsy that even having a status condition boosts the Pokemon's attack stat. Basically, this move is used in competitive so much. I've seen it so much. We're basically giving your Pokemon an item that makes it so that they poison or get a status condition on themselves. Mainly poison because all it does is damage you. It doesn't hinder you in any other way. And basically your attack stat gets increased by a shit ton. And you don't really get affected by much. All it is just you're getting poisoned every turn. But what does it matter if you're just sweeping your enemy, right? And Steadfast is the other ability where if the Pokemon that has Steadfast is flinched, its speed stat will increase by 1 stage. Pretty decent stuff. And its hidden ability is Vital Spirit, preventing the Pokemon from being afflicted by sleep and yawn. Rest will fail when used by the Pokemon. So the Pokemon cannot be put to sleep, at the same time it cannot put itself to sleep. Yeah. It's 100% male. So yeah, the only way for you to get another Tyrogue I believe is through breeding. And I don't actually know all that stuff about it. But here is where the even stats matter. Tyrogue has the ability to evolve into one of 3 different Pokemon. Hitmonlee, the first one on the top, Hitmonchan, the one on the right, and Hitmontop on the bottom. Hitmonlee. And the only way you can do this is if you, while leveling up your Tyrogue, you make it so that for Hitmonlee's case, it'll be all of them will evolve at level 20. For Hitmonlee's case, the attack must be more than the defense stat. For Hitmonchan, for Hitmonchan, the attack must be less than the defense. And for Hitmontop, attack and defense can be equal. And do you see those items that I placed beside Hitmonchan, Hitmontop, and Hitmonlee? Those items, if held by a Tyrogue, will make sure that when they level up, the stats that they want higher will become higher. For Power Brace, attack will increase more. For Power Belt, defense will increase more. And for Macho Brace, it will keep it same. So yeah, that's a good thing because levels, you don't actually get the same like increase in stats for each level. So Macho Brace will be good to keep it even. Yeah, that's pretty much it for Tyrogue. Pretty awesome Pokemon, honestly. The choices, I feel like all 3 are pretty good in their own way. but as a Tyrogue, it doesn't learn much. It learns Tackle, Helping Hand, Fake Out, and Focus Energy, which is not that great. However, if you do breed one, it does learn High Jump, Kick, Mach Punch, and even Bullet Punch. Pretty sweet stuff for a freaking Tyrogue. Yeah, that's pretty much it for Tyrogue. And moving on to the one and only, the Psychic Pokemon that I wanted to talk about in this area that is way better than any Psychic that we have talked about so far. It's Ralts, the Feeling Pokemon. Psychic Fairy type. Also, don't mind the fairy symbol. In Ruby and Sapphire, there wasn't exactly a fairy type, so it didn't. Yeah. I'm not that skilled to recreate that psychic thing. Yeah, I don't even know how to do it, so Ralts, special attack, speed. Look at that. Like I said, psychic types always have a knack for special attack. Its abilities are Synchronize and Trace. Synchronize, you share the pain that I'm feeling right now. Trace, when it enters a battle, the Pokemon will copy the opposing Pokemon's ability. This can go one of two ways, honestly. You might get a shit ability, or you might get a good ability that might help out your Ralts. Its hidden ability is Telepathy, where basically Pokemon with Telepathy will not be able to be damaged by allies. Pretty simple stuff. As for its weaknesses, it's only weak to 3 stuff: Poison, Ghost, and Steel, and it even is immune to freaking Dragon due to that subtype of Fairy. So really, this thing's amazing. And it's quad resistant to fighting. Fighting Pokemon can't do jack to your Ralts. So why does it matter if its defense and special defense are like that? It doesn't matter, because they're dead before they can lay a finger on your Ralts. Anyway, Ralts evolves to Curlier at level 20. But then things get a little bit interesting. From Curlier to go to Gardevoir, which is the one on top, you need to get level 30 on, and get this, any gender of Ralts. It doesn't matter if it's female or male. If you get to level 30, it's gonna become a Gardevoir. Now, correct me if I seem a bit blind, but Gardevoir is definitely, without a doubt, a female Pokemon, right? Let's just leave it at that. But anyway, if you are, or if you prefer the Diamond and Pearls evolution, you can give it a Dawnstone to a male Curlier to make Gallade. The difference, I will come to it when they appear, because maybe I might plan to put one on my team, but who knows. Anyway, moving from a very amazing Pokemon to an interesting one. Pancham, the playful Pokemon. Fighting type. Yes, I'm sure I'm not the only one who thought it was a grass type. Its attack, though, is beyond. I mean, look at that. Defense and HP are the other best things about it. The only problem is his speed is really low. But yeah, but overall, he's pretty good as a tank or a sweeper, as a physical sweeper. Yeah. Anyway, its ability is Iron Fist, which basically increases the power of punching moves by 20%, and Mold Breaker, which ignores the effect of abilities that could be stopped, as Earthquake being able to hit an opponent that is level 8. Basically, it makes it so that any ability your opponent has, might as well just say blank, because it's now useless against Mold Breaker. And his hidden ability, Scrappy. This Pokemon can hit Ghost type Pokemon with normal and fighting type moves. Normally, Ghost types cannot be touched by fighting and normal type Pokemon. Scrappy makes it so that, well, they might as well be on the mortal plane. And yeah, it's a good move, because there are strong moves that, well, yeah. And then for, well, the Mental Herb, 5% chance, gonna get rid of any of those pesky taunts, infatuates, anything. And it's only weak to Flying, Psychic, and Fairy, so just switch out if you feel like you have a problem. His moveset, I would say pretty okay. From things to Body Slam to Vital Throws, even Circle Throw at an early level, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Learns a bunch of good shit too, so hey. And, well, if you're worried about breeding, well, there's always Storm Throw when you breed one, and even Seismic Toss, so hey, might be worth your while to breed one. Unevolved is Pancham, but, well, this is another interesting one. For Pancham to go to Pangoro, you require to make it level 32, but you need a dark type Pokemon in your party. Why? Who knows? I mean, maybe it's because he gains the subtype of dark, but other than that, I cannot find another reason why the Pidove went from being a normal fighting type to a dark fighting type. Who I see? Sasuke. Anyway, next one. Next Pokemon. Butterfree! The only reason for this Pokemon to be in this game is because it has a beautiful Gigantamax form that we'll talk about in the future. But for now, Butterfree, the butterfly Pokemon. Bug and flying, we can see a lot of problems there, but we'll see it later. But this thing has amazing special attack and special defense for a bug type. HP and speed are also nothing to laugh at. And the only reason for this is because I believe this thing learns a lot of psychic type attacks. A lot of special attacks as well. It has a chance of holding a silver powder, which is the bug equivalent of the other ones, which basically bug type moves will increase by 20% power. Pretty good stuff. Actually, another good thing to add is that its overall stats have actually increased from generation 1 to 5, and now it's actually the special attack is 10 more than it used to be, and only to sacrifice nothing, honestly, because it just increased its own special attack by 10. However, here comes the real problem. It is weak to flying, fire, electric, ice, and times 4 weak to rock. A big problem for a little butterfly. It does learn Psybeam at level 16, which might make up for the fact that, well, I mean, most of its moves is special based, so, you know, pick your poison. Pick your poison. Would you rather keep it and try to one-shot that pesky fire type, or would you tell it to GTFO? I would assume GTFO. I'm sure you know because this is the final evolution, so, yep, Butterfree. Its abilities are Compound Eyes. Compound Eyes increases the accuracy of a move by multiplying that accuracy by a factor of 1.3. And its hidden ability, Tinted Lens, doubles the damage done by any move that the Pokemon uses that are not very effective. This effect is independent on whether the type effectiveness is half or less. So if say you decide to keep Butterfree out and you decide to use a move that is weak, like it does half damage to whatever enemy Pokemon. Tinted hold on. Tinted Lens makes it so that you deal normal amount of damage. Yeah, normal amount of damage. So you actually will be not very effective no more. You would be effective. Which is basically doing normal damage, so yeah. I'm just going around the bush. Speaking of a bush, it has nothing to do with bush. It's Pidove, the tiny pigeon Pokemon. Flying normal type. Pretty standard stuff. For a flying normal type, I would say. Stats wise, only the specials are a bit bad, but then again, it is an attack bird. I mean, most birds are attacking, you know. Big Pack and Super Luck are both of its abilities. Big Pack basically protects the Pokemon from any defense lowering effects. I mean, it's a good thing because its defense is the only thing it's good for. You can't lower it. Super Luck, which increases the crit hit ratio by 1 stage. That is welcomed no matter what. Its hidden ability is Rivalry. When a Pokemon with Rivalry uses an attack, the attack's power is raised by 25% if the target and the user have the same gender. And it is actually reduced by 25% if it's the opposite genders. So, pretty interesting. Pretty interesting strat-wise. Like, if you know the gender of your opponent's Pokemon, you can switch it out whenever you need to. It evolves to Tranquil at level 21. And then afterwards, from Tranquil to Unpheasant is level 32. But hey, I mean, this thing is no Pidgey. I will have to say that right now. This thing is no Pidgey. It's Pidove. Anyway, from the sky to the dirt, that's Roggenrola, the Mantle Pokemon. Pure Rock type. But look at that first 3 stats. HP, attack, and defense are out the butt. And I like saying that, but then again, I don't know any other words to use. And also, I'm losing my mind. HP is 55, attack 75, and defense 85. That is insane. I mean, you would expect a rock-type Pokemon to have such defenses, but in his case, it's just a bit overwhelming. Now, it has the chance of holding 2 items. One is the Everstone, which when held by a Pokemon makes it so that it never evolves. But be careful, once it reaches level 100 and you don't take it off, it will never evolve ever again. It's gonna be a level 100, whatever the heck. Heartstone is the other one, where basically rock-type moves will increase by 20%. Pretty simple stuff. Now, as for its weaknesses, it's weak to fighting, ground, steel, water, and grass. However, to me, fighting doesn't seem to be much of an issue here, since most fighting type moves are physical, which this guy is really good against. And also, it learns a bunch of physically good moves. I mean, it learns a bunch of good moves that are physical and have good powers, so it's pretty good. I mean, then again, I wonder how Explosion is physical, but let's not talk about that. Its 2 abilities are Strutty and Weak Armor. Strutty making it so that it cannot be knocked out in one hit, and Weak Armor making it so that its defense will be lowered so that speed may increase. Now, I'm no expert, but if I ever see a gigantic boulder suddenly speed up towards me, I would run too. Because its defense is already that high, losing a bit won't even affect Roggenrola. Its hidden ability, however, is Sand Force. We're doing a Sandstorm. Sand Force will increase the power of rock, ground, and steel moves used by the Pokemon with this ability by 30%. A Pokemon with this ability will also take no Sandstorm damage, if it would, which it doesn't. Now, Roggenrola evolves from Roggenrola to Boldore at level 25, and then from Boldore to the amazingly named Gigalith when you trade it with someone. Yep, you don't actually have to level it up to get that epic thing. All you need is a friend, which is actually harder than getting to level whatever the heck. So I think you're right. No, okay, I'm joking. Yeah, so pretty standard stuff. Pretty good rock type. I would say I would prefer it over Onix. I would say that. I honestly would. Yeah. Okay. And speaking of the dirt, let's move on to the master of the dirt from Gen 1. It's Diglett, the mole Pokemon. Pure ground type. Let's see the problems there. Even though I see no problem when it comes to speed. 95 speed and the next closest stat is a 55 in attack. Everything else is pretty bad, but hey. 95 speed and then there's a ground type that would know Magnitude or Earthquake. Nice. Anyway, abilities. It has Sandveil. Doing a Sandstorm, the accuracy of any move used by this Pokemon, used against this Pokemon, will be, well, times a factor of 4/5. Basically, its accuracy will drop. And afterwards, it has Arena Trap, which prevents Pokemon from fleeing. This is actually good in the older generations where they used to have Pokemon that ran away from you and that are legendary. Also, this thing has a 5% chance of having Soft Sand, which makes ground type moves 20% more powerful. This thing is only weak to 3 things: water, grass, and ice. Pretty easy things to counter, pretty easy things to switch out from, and to not get that much damage off of. And also, moveset wise, this thing is a beast. I mean, even before you evolve it to Dugtrio level 26, you can already get Bulldoze, which is an awesome move, and even Sucker Punch, even though everybody would question why the heck something like that can Sucker Punch. I don't want to imagine it, so let's move on. It evolves from Diglett to Dugtrio at level 26. Pretty close, actually. Pretty soon, more like it. But yeah, ground type Pokemon. Pretty good. Legitimately, I love it. I love Diglett. It was a go-to Pokemon in the first gen, and I would always use it whenever I could. Okay, let's just see what we have next. We have the Seedot. Yes, for those of you who have been wondering, hey, Nuzleaf's here, where's Seedot? Well, here he is, Seedot, the Acorn Pokemon, which is, well, just like its Nuzleaf, it is Sword exclusive. It's pure Grass type. Defense is the only good thing about it, other than HP and attack. Pretty balanced stuff for a 3-stage evolution. Its first ability is Chlorophyll, boosts the Pokemon speed in harsh sunlight, and for Early Bird, it wakes up twice as fast. Pickpocket, you already know what it does. It basically, you pickpocket. Power Herb, basically any charge move, well, can be used in the same turn. You probably already know the evolution line, so there's really no point to say the evolutionary line. Its weaknesses are roughly the same as Nuzleaf's: Flying, Poison, Bug, Fire, and Ice. Minusing, I think, one, which is Psychic because of Dark, so that's one good thing, I guess. And moves-wise, yeah, learns pretty good stuff. I mean, if you count learning Explosion at level 33 good stuff, then sure, good stuff. Anyway, moving on to a more recent Pokemon, actually. Well, recent to me because I didn't actually play Sun and Moon. Yeah, I'm sad. Stuffle, the flailing Pokemon. Normal fighting type. So already, fighting type's out the picture. This thing's not weak to fighting type no more. Yeah. Not weak to fighting types anymore. Its stats is, well, pretty much what you expect from a Pokemon that calls itself the flailing Pokemon. A lot of HP with a lot of attack. And a bit tanky on all sides and decent speed. Its abilities are Fluffy and Klutz. For Fluffy, it takes half damage from moves that make contact, but it also takes double damage from fire-type moves. However, fire-type moves that make contact will deal regular damage. So for example, if say your opponent used Flamethrower, it will do twice the damage, but if they use say something like Flare Blitz or Flame Wheel, it's gonna do the normal damage. And for Klutz, well, the Pokemon can't use any held items. Simple as that. And finally, Cute Charm, which is his hidden ability. When this Pokemon with this ability is hit by a move that makes contact, there's a 30% chance that the opponent will become infatuated. But of course, it has to be the opposite gender. And it of course will not go off if the Pokemon is genderless. So yeah, hey, can't attract me if I don't say I'm anything. Sadly though, he is still weak to fighting, flying, psychic, and fairy. Especially that fighting one is boggling. I don't even know why, but it does learn sick moves. Like before even evolving, it already learns stuff like Takedown and Strength, Brutal Swing, and even Payback, which are pretty good moves overall. And if you're willing to maybe wait before you evolve it, it does learn Hammer Arm at level 32, which is, well, yeah, fighting type, kinda needs one. From Stuffle, it does evolve at level 27 to Beware, as in Beware the Bear, you know, haha, hilarious. Okay, moving on, it's not funny. Next Pokemon, Stunky. Stunky, the skunk Pokemon. Poison, dark type. I mean, it's a skunk. I'm not sure what else should I say. Its speed is insane though for a poison type, honestly. As for HP and attack, I mean, pretty decent stuff, honestly. I don't see much problem with that. Defense and the specials are pretty bad, but, well, it's not meant to be that big of a wall, honestly, at this form. One of his abilities is Stench. He has a 10% chance of making the target flinch when hit by a damaging move. Stench does not stack with King's Rock or Razor Fang if the Pokemon in first... And also, this is actually something that happens in the wild. If the Pokemon is first in the party, the chance of running into a wild Pokemon will be decreased by 50%. So if you want to go past something and you don't want to use Repels, this guy is your go-to guy. And the other skill is Aftermath. When a Pokemon with this ability faints due to damage from a move that makes contact, the attacking Pokemon deals damage equal to 1/4 of its own maximum HP. The ability will not affect if a Pokemon with damp is on the field, so be wary of that. And the of course, its hidden ability Keen Eye, which makes it so that you cannot lower its accuracy. From Stunky, it does evolve at level 34 to Skunk Tank. Yep, Stank. And as for moves wise, it does learn a bunch of good moves, honestly. Even though I'm not sure what's with the recent few Pokemon and knowing the move Explosion at a very high level, I'm getting worried. But yeah, that's Stunky. Moving on to Tim. Here comes another one I can't pronounce for the life of me. Tadpole. Freaking hell. Tadpole, the Tadpole Pokemon. Shit, I forgot it. Tadpole, the Tadpole Pokemon. Its HP and attack, pretty okay. Special attack, oh, of course it's okay. And since it's a water Pokemon, speed is really, really high. As for weaknesses, Grass and Electric. That's it. Not much of a problem, honestly, when it evolves, but we'll see. We'll talk about it later. Abilities are Swift Swim and Hydration. Swift Swim making it so that the Pokemon's speed is double when it rains, and Hydration will cure the Pokemon of any non-volatile status condition. If it cures a status condition, it does so before the damage is dealt that turn. So say for example your Pokemon's burned, well basically it will heal before the burn effect hits you, so good thing. And of course its hidden ability Water Absorb allows it to heal when hit by a water move. And it restores not very little though. It's 1/4 of your HP bar, which is huge. Okay? Now from Tapo, it does evolve at level 25 to Plapitoad, and from there level 36 to Seismitoad. Pretty awesome evolution, I would say. Learning moves are not much of an issue there. Before level 25, it does learn things like Uproar. Before level 25, it does learn Flail and Bubble Beam, making it pretty good. And if you really want to hold up, you can actually wait till level 28 for Uproar. But other than that, pretty decent Pokemon, pretty decent Water type. It evolves into a pretty awesome counter to a lot of Electric types. Anyway, moving on to another Pokemon I'm not really familiar with. Grubbin, the larva Pokemon. It's a bug. That's it. Game over. Stats wise, attack and special attack are insane compared to the rest, which makes sense because its final evolution is actually more of that based. Its ability is Swarm during rain, the speed stat of the... Wait, no, hold on. Let me get out of my stroke for a second. So the ability Swarm is basically, well, Blaze, but for bug types. It increases the damage by 50% during the damage calculation. This thing is weak to flying, rock, and fire. Pretty standard stuff for a pure bug type. What else can I say about it? It's a bug type. Now all you need for this one is you need to get Grub into level 20 to become Charger Bug. Yes, Charger Bug. Can you hear it? Charger. Yeah, that thing is just a giant charger port. And to evolve it into Vikavolt, you just basically have to give it a Thunderstone, but it's Sword and Shield Thunderstone, so yay. The next Pokemon, Snover, Frost Tree Pokemon, Grass Ice type. Interesting typing since they usually hurt each other. Its stats wise, its HP is pretty decent, attack and special attack are so good. The defense wise are also pretty good. The only problem with this guy is that his speed is bad, but hey, if you're that tanky, I don't think no one cares about your speed. It has a chance of holding the Never Melt Ice, which is basically, well, increases ice type moves by 20%. This thing has the ability Snow Warning, which summons a hailstorm when it enters the battlefield. Pretty good because it's not damaged by the hail and enemies can be attacked, can be hurt every turn. However, this is where the good things end because weak to fighting, flying, poison, rock, bug, steel, and fire. That's a lot of weaknesses, but it's resistant to 4 types: ground, water, grass, and electric. So, you know, some things outweigh, I guess. And of course, its hidden ability is Soundproof, where it prevents all sound-based moves, even if it's allies. So even the Heal Bell, which is a sound-based move that heals you, well, Snover can't hear it. It's soundproof. It evolves to, well, an abomination to say the least. It goes from Snover and level up to level 40. You get the Abomasnow. Yes, the Abomasnow. I don't know why. Say it fast. It's just Obamasnow. I want my Obamasnow. Ew. Oh my god, we're finally getting to the end of this. Kling, the gear Pokemon. It's pure steel type, which is actually a surprise to me to begin with because I could have sworn it was electric, but oh well. It's a pretty defensive wall. Special attack and attack are also pretty good. HP and speed are the only real problems, but that's not really a problem when you're a steel type. Its abilities are, well, pretty simple, honestly. It's plus and minus, where basically, well, they increase special attack if the other one or itself is on the field. I feel like I explained this already, where if 2 Pokemon, one has plus, special attack increase, minus and minus, special attack increase, plus and minus, special attack increase, minus and plus, special attack increase. Doesn't matter. It doesn't have to, you know, be all like plus, minus kind of thing. Oh. It's weak to fighting, ground, and fire. Immune to poison though, which is really good. And it is resistant to, hey, count with me: normal, flying, rock, bug, steel, grass, psychic, ice, dragon, and fairy. It's resistant to 5 to 10 different types. 10! That is a lot. And accompanying with the fact that it learned so many good moves even before evolving to its first form, Level 38, and even before that, it learns things like Gear Grind and Discharge. And even Charge Beam, which increases special attack, that has a chance to increase special attack. A chance is better than nothing, honestly. Now, of course, its hidden ability is Clear Body, where basically you can't lower this thing's stats. No, unless you want to increase it, there's nothing you can do about it. Cling evolves to this is the most. This is the most. What's the word I'm looking for? Creative evolutionary line I think I've ever seen in any game. From Cling, you have to get it to level 38 to become Clang, and then from Clang, you get it to level 49, it becomes Cling Clang. Can you see it? They basically took the past two evolutions, took out a K, and then just combine them together. Cling Clang, Cling Clang. Hilarious. Next in line, we have Purloin, the devious Pokemon. Dark type, literally pure dark. Nothing more, nothing less. This thing's stats are pretty okay in the attack range, but horrible in the defense range. Yeah, 50-50, and even the speed is pretty awesome. But defense-wise, really needs a little bit of work. Its abilities are Limber and Unburden. Limber prevents the opponent from the Pokemon from being afflicted by paralysis, which is pretty good, because paralysis is a piece of shit. Unburden doubles the Pokemon's speed stat when the held item is lost. If there was no held item to begin with, or the held item is traded for another, Unburden will not activate. So as long as you use the held item, like your Pokemon consumes the held item, the ability will go off. If it's taken from you, or if you didn't have one to begin with, Unburden will not go off. And of course, its hidden ability is Prankster. Prankster increases the priority of status moves that increase or decrease stats by 1. So basically, if you want to decrease your opponent's stat, you are given priority over them. It's weak to Fighting, Bug, and Fairy. Pretty okay. Resistant to Ghost and Dark, so you know, something good about it. It will not get any items out in the open, and it evolves from Purloin to Liepard at a good level of 20. Pretty good, pretty good. Next up, we have Hoot Hoot. Hoot Hoot. It's a Hoot 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 Hoot. It's the owl Pokemon. Insomnia and Keen Eye are its abilities, and its stats are pretty okay. HP being really high, special defense being surprisingly high, and speed being, well, no surprise, high. Insomnia makes it so that the Pokemon cannot fall asleep, and Keen Eye prevents other Pokemon from lowering the Pokemon's accuracy. And Tinted Lens doubles the damage dealt by any move that says not very effective, to make it sort of effective. This thing is weak to electric, rock, and ice. It is resistant to bug and grass and immune to ground and ghost, so hey, the bad things are being outweighed by the good things, so hey, pick it up if you want. It evolves into Noctowl at the age really losing it. Hoot from to Noctowl, you'll need to wait till level 20. I say that like it's a long time. It's really not. Yeah, that's a Noctowl for you. Anyway, next Pokemon, Drifloon, the balloon Pokemon with the most creepiest Pokedex entry I think I've ever heard in my life, but not gonna read it. Ghost Flying type. Sorry. Its HP, it's really high for something that, well, doesn't look like it should have that much HP, huh? But it does, and its speed stat is nothing to laugh at either. Special attack and attack are also so big. It is weak to rock, ghost, electric, ice, and dark. However, it is immune to normal fighting and ground, and it's resistant to poison, bug, and grass. 6 immunities versus 4 weaknesses. I think we all know the answer to why this thing is pretty okay as a Pokemon. Learns a lot of decent physical and special moves together, so making it good for the fact that it has that kind of attack and special attack. The only problem is defense is completely bad. Yeah. Its abilities are Aftermath and Unburden. When a Pokemon with Aftermath faints due to damage from a move that makes contact, the opponent takes 1/4 of its own maximum HP as damage. Unburden doubles the Pokemon's speed when the Pokemon's held item is lost. Pretty simple stuff. But here comes its hidden ability, Flare Boost. While the Pokemon with this ability is burned, the power of special moves is increased by 50%. Now for burn, Normally, it cuts your attack in half, which doesn't matter in Drifloon's case because even though the attack is cut in half, your special attack is increased by 50%. Insane. Sorry, hold on. Oh man, I tell you, reading these bios have gotten me, my throat is dying. I'm gonna sleep after this is what I'm gonna do, even though it's the afternoon. Anyway, Drifloon will evolve, Drifloon will evolve into Drifblim at level 28. Yep, level 28, magical number, really close to. Duskull, the Requiem Pokemon! Whoa, Requiem. I'm gonna die. A Ghost type, pure Ghost type. Oh, look at those defense and special defense stats. Absolutely beautiful. Its ability is, well, simple. Levitate. Full immunity to any ground type move. This thing has a 5% chance of getting a spell tag. Spell tag is well, basically the ghost version of literally every other item, which this one increases the power of ghost type attacks by 20%. Pretty simple stuff. It is only weak to 2 types, Ghost and Dark, and it is immune to normal fighting and resistant to poison and bug. Couldn't ask for a better ghost type, honestly. It learns amazing moves from Shadow Ball at level 40 to Payback at level 20. But of course, if you want to, evolve it the second you can, it does learn Curse and Hex right before it evolves at level 37 to Dusclops. And also its hidden ability Frisk, which when it enters the battlefield, it will check an opponent held item. And it also activates on every Pokemon that appears. So every time a Pokemon appears, you actually know what item is on that Pokemon. And of course, from Dusclops to Dusknoir, you have to trade holding a Reaper Cloth. But honestly, for Sword and Shield, you don't really have to do that. Dusknoir does appear out in the wild. So, that's a good thing, I guess. Yeah, pretty much it for Duskull. But hey, a good ghost type is what I would say. But then, in both games, you can also catch the one, the only, OP as F, Ghastly, the gas Pokemon. Poison Ghost. This Pokemon and its evolution line are the reasons why Ghost type should be feared. Look at that special attack stat, 100. Look at that speed stat. It will outspeed anything at this point in the game. And to make matters worse, it is immune to 3 types and resistant completely by 4 other types. So frankly, this thing is not weak to 7 types, and it doesn't even take damage from 3 of those 7 types. It's only weak to Ghost, Psychic, and Dark. Boo-hoo, big deal. Nobody cares. Let's move on to its moves. Even before turning into a Haunter, Hex, Curse, Spite, Payback, Confuse Ray, even Lick is good. But of course, evolving it becomes so much better. Its of course only ability is Levitate, giving it full immunity to all ground type moves. Doesn't have any held item in the wild, but when from Ghastly to Haunter, it's level 25. Not that hard to get it to. And what do you need to make it into a Gengar? Oh, let me see. Trade it. Just trade it. Very difficult, right? To have a sweeper with that much special attack and to get its final evolution by trading, it's amazing. And I cannot come up with a single person in this universe that would hate the Gengar line. I mean the Ghastly line. They are an awesome line of Pokemon that would be good on any team. Any team. And I will stick to that statement for the rest of my life. Ghastly will be good on any team regardless. Okay, moving on to a much less impressive Pokemon. Machop, the superpower Pokemon. Sure, sounds impressive. But then again, it's not. HP 70 and attack 80. Pretty high stuff. I mean, it's something that literally punching the screen as I'm reading this, so I would assume attack will be its highest stat. As for weaknesses, this thing is of course weak to the usual few: Flying, Psychic, and Fairy. However, it is resistant to Rock, Bug, and Dark, so maybe not as bad as I thought it was. It does have a chance of getting a Focus Band in the wild, 5% in fact. It basically makes it so that your Pokemon can't faint. Yeah, I mean for once, of course. It's a one-time thing where if one time you don't lose all your HP, the next time, well, you're definitely dead. Learns a bunch of good moves before it actually evolves. In fact, I would recommend you not evolving it until level 20, until level 30, honestly, or even higher than that, because as a Machop, it will learn Strength at level 29. So hey, why not? Its abilities: No Guts and Guts, where Guts is basically if it has a status condition, its attack increases by 50%, and for No Guard, the opponent can be hit regardless of whether they fly or whether they protect. But of course, the accuracy must be below 100, so keep that in mind. A Steadfast increases the user's speed stat by 1 stage when it flinch. A lot of people will be willing to flinch your Machop, but if they don't know that it's Steadfast, they will just flinch it without even thinking. It evolves to Machoke at level 28, and all you have to do is trade it to get your amazing Machamp. The four-handed, forearms looking ass. But yeah, pretty decent Pokemon. Now, let's talk about a little Pokemon known as Shuckle, the mold Pokemon. Now, you may be wondering, hey, where's the stats? Let's talk about everything else first, shall we? Its ability is Strutty. It cannot be knocked over with one hit. One hit KO moves doesn't knock it out either. Cool. Gluttony. The Pokemon, when it eats a berry, it will increase the chance of you eating the berry to not 25% HP, but at 50% HP instead. And now let's move on to its hidden abilities. All stat changes are reverse, self-afflicted, or inflicted by opponents or not. What does it mean by that? Say for example, your opponent is using a move to lower your accuracy. Ha! Psych! You're increasing my accuracy. Yeah, you now get it. Everything that happens to Shuckle is reversed. So, think about it for a second. This Pokemon has a 100% chance of holding a berry juice when you find it in the wild. Oh, but what is a berry juice, you may ask? Only the best berry-based thing ever. If the holder's HP falls below 50%, it will consume berry juice and restore 20 HP. May not be great, honestly, but hey, you can give it to any Pokemon and just let it drink. But it has no evolution. But could we talk for a minute about its weaknesses? It's weak to rock, steel, and water. Sure. Resistant to poison and normal types, and takes normal damage from every other type. And it learns amazing movesets from psychic moves to even rock moves, to bug moves, to even a water move. But I mean, it's a withdrawal, but you know, it's amazing. But what's the true kicker here that I'm trying to really hard to not lose my shit over? Look at its defense and special defense for a moment. Yeah, it's a wall the size of a peanut. That's pretty much Shuckle. It is a wall that's a small tiny peanut that can take damage like nobody's business. Even though its health may be 20, who cares? Don't care. Its health may be 20, but unless you have something that hits like a train, you're not gonna get through this thing. And look at his face. Do you think that thing gives a shit? Your damage is nothing. It just has to hide in that shell of it, which is giving me what's the phobia of holes? Because I just realized how much. Oh, my skin's crawling. Next. Okay, going from trypophobia to bat phobia. If you hate Batman, well, this one's not for you. Woobat, the bat Pokemon, psychic flying type. Pretty interesting combination of typing, honestly. Its stats actually have changed a bit from the generation that it was introduced to now, where basically its HP is more than it used to be by 10, and that's pretty much it. Everything else stayed the same other than its HP increased by 10. Its speed is also really fast, and special attack is also its main force to be reckoned with. It is weak to a lot of things, however. Rock, Ghost, Electric, Ice, and Dark. Pretty standard flying problems. But it is immune to ground, which is one good thing, and is quad resistant to fighting types, and well, normal and resistant to grass and psychic as well. So, weigh out the options. Learns a ton of amazing moves, from Future Sight to Psychic to Air Slash to Air Cutter, that really makes use of its typing. Its abilities are Unaware and Klutz. Unaware, it ignores the target Pokemon's stat changes, and for Klutz, the Pokemon can't use held items. But its hidden ability is simple. No, I mean it's really just simple. No, you're not understanding me. It's the word simple. That's the ability name. Simple. The stat changes that this Pokemon receives are doubled. Yes. Doubled. You want it up one stage? No. Woobat ups it by 2. The only thing is, for Woobat to evolve into the very creatively named Swoobat, you need to make sure its friendship is high enough. But unlike the previous Pokemon that had a certain date condition, this thing, as long as you get its friendship up, it will evolve and be your wonderful Swoobat. Moving on to another bat Pokemon that isn't called the bat Pokemon. Noibat, the Soundwave Pokemon. Now, look at that typing. Yeah, this thing is great. This thing is actually a beast, flying, and dragon. Its speed, amazing. HP and special attack got some work to do, but I bet it will be fixed when it evolves. It's a good Pokemon overall. Weak to Ice ×4 though, which is a real problem, but hey, switch it out then. Rock, Dragon, and Fairy are also its weaknesses, but let's talk about the things it's not weak against. It's immune to ground types. It is resistant to fighting, bug, fire, water, and grass. I see no issue with this Pokemon other than the fact that it does not learn any Dragon type moves as a Noibat, or as I can see. So that's one bad thing. Its abilities are Frisk. When it enters battle, the Pokemon can check the held items of all opposing Pokemon, regardless of position. And for Infiltrator, it passes through the Pokemon's barriers and Substitute. Yes, this Pokemon says, screw your Substitute, I'm coming for you. And of course, Telepathy, where multi-targeting moves cannot be, well, allies cannot hit you with a multi-targeting move. Things like Discharge, and I think Surf also multi-targets, so yeah. It evolves at a really late level. Level 48 to Noivern, but honestly, with Sword and Shield, I don't think leveling matters. Because you can just let your most powerful Pokemon stand in front, or yeah, just let it stand in front and just go to town on the enemies. Now, let's also talk about another Pokemon that I think I shat on earlier without realizing what I was getting myself into. Onyx the Rock Snake Pokemon. Gen 1 Legend. It was the biggest thing from that generation and still the most feared thing to this day. Even getting a Mega Evolution, and well, what can I say about it? It's a giant rock snake. How do you beat this? Well, other than Ash, who decided to just pour water on the rock snake and then use Electric. But I digress. Now for Onyx, its defense is what you expect from a giant rock snake, honestly. Like, that defense is pretty much what you expect. But speed is it's like that. It's like, how do you make something so big and so fast? It's scary to think of Onyx just chasing after you. And well, other than that, attacking is pretty good. Special defense is also pretty okay. Special attack is health is its ability Rockhead prevents recoil damage from moves except for Struggle, which is pretty much just a recoil. It's a forced recall, to say the least. Recoil, sorry. But not from the use of Life Orb, the Jabaka Berry, or the Robot Berry. Crash damage is still received from Jump Kick or High Jump Kick. Yes, there is a difference between recoil and crash. Where crash is if you miss, you literally crash and burn. It's the joke, I guess. And Strutty Whelp can be knocked out by one hit. Onyx's weaknesses are fighting ground, steel, water, grass, and ice. It is immune to electric. and resistant to normal, flying, poison, rock, and fire. So basically, its weaknesses and its strengths are kind of equal. Future Leonidas, pause. Now, from getting to Onix to Steelix, all you have to do is give your Onix the metal coat, and then afterwards trade it to someone and then get it back. That's how you get your Steelix. But of course, being this game, you don't have to trade or have friends to actually get your evolution, because it will eventually appear in the wild. So hey, for those of you who have no friends like me, yay! Don't need to trade and socialize. Next Pokemon coming up is Magikarp, the literal fish Pokemon. I'm not sure how much more you want me to say about the fish Pokemon. Yeah, it's the fish Pokemon that turns into a beast. Its base stats are what you expect from a floppy fish. Defense is 55 and speed is amazing, but other than that, everything else is trash. Its ability Swift Swim is during rain. Its speed stat will increase by 2. Will be multiplied by 2, and it somehow has a hidden ability, Rattle. Dark, Ghost, and Bug-type moves scare the Pokemon and boost its speed stat. Yeah. As for weaknesses, surprisingly only weak to 2 things: Grass and Electric, and as much as anyone shits on this Pokemon, this thing is resistant to Steel, Fire, Water, and Ice. Some Pokemon can't even be resistant to 2 of those. And of course, by leveling up, this thing knows Splash, which is the meme, and Tackle and Flail. But of course, by the time you get to Flail, I think you would have evolved into a Gyarados by now, which will evolve at level 20. Basically the most WTF Pokemon of Gen 1, but honestly the best Pokemon from Gen 1. Every team had this thing. And this thing has even gone so far to actually have a Mega Evolution as well. So yeah, props to the floppy fish Pokemon. Anyway, next up, we went from a fish to a Shelder. Shelder, the oh my god, what is that word? Bivalve Pokemon. Water. It is water type. Okay, I'm not gonna continue that accent. Whatever the heck it is. I don't even know. What accent is that? Anyway, stats-wise, this thing's defense is around the same as Onix's, and it's from the same gen too. Attack is also amazing. Special attack is amazing. Speed, it'll work. The only problem is special defense and HP, bad. As for its held items, it's very interesting. It has a 50% chance to have a pearl and a 5% chance to carry a big pearl. They sell for a lot of money. That's all you need to know. Shell Armor and Skill Link are both of its abilities, where Shell Armor prevents you from getting critically hit, and Skill Link maximizes the amount of times the multi-track move will hit. And its hidden ability, Overcoat, protects the Pokemon from things like sail, sand, hail, and powder. Basically, any weather effect that would hurt a Pokemon, this thing will not be hurt. Same thing as Magikarp, weak to only grass and electric, and resistant to steel, fire, water, and ice. So these two are pretty good. Learns pretty awesome moves before you try to evolve it, or you can just straight up evolve it. It's up to you. Evolves based on water stones, so honestly you can choose when you want to evolve it, or you can just straight up evolve it once you get one. It's really your choice. Next up is the wishiest of washis, the Wishy-Washy, the small fry Pokemon. This is what I would say it, but it's not really the small fry Pokemon, I'll tell you that much. Water type, pure water, HP and everything seem really lackluster for what I just said, but you'll get it in a moment. Its ability is Schooling. If Wishy-Washy is level 20 or higher at the start of a battle or the end of a turn, if its HP is above 25%, it will change into School form. At the end of the turn, it will change back to its Solar form if it's below 25%. Before we talk about the School form, let's talk about Wishy-Washy some more. Even though both the weaknesses are the same, I might as well say it now. Both the School form and the Solar form are weak to grass and electric, same as Shelder, but resistant to steel, fire, water, and ice. Learns amazing moves from Hydro Pump, Double Edge, Aqua Tail, Aqua Wing, even Brine, and even Soak. Literally making it so that, well, it's more effective. And it also learns a handful of amazing moves too. So there's really no reason to not have a Wishy-Washy. But then you might be saying, but Leonidas, his stats look like that. Really? Well then, let me introduce you to its school form. Look at that. Whatever problems you had previously, you sure don't have them now anymore, do ya? Attack, defense, special attack, and special defense increased out the bum. HP staying the same, but hey, if its level is high enough, you don't even need to bother about HP when everything else is so good. It is a tank and an attacker. And this Pokemon is amazing. I would gladly put one in my Let's Play team because this thing is awesome. Like, maybe I'll use it on the Grookey team because this thing is a water type. But man, the increase of stats surprised me when I was making this bio. Because I looked at the wishy-washy normal form and I was like, the school form can't be that bad. And then boom! Boom! Like, what the heck? Like, this is like puberty. Like, it hits it so hard, but so beautifully hard. And well, from such a high note, we have to end this entire thing off in a very low note. Goldeen, the goldfish Pokemon. I already forgot what I was talking about. Haha, goldfish joke. Going in to this. Yep, truly losing my mind. Truly losing my mind. But of course, I can't shit on it too much because in Sword and Shield, it actually has a 5% chance of holding a Mystic Water. Mystic Water? Does this sound familiar? Boost the power of Holder's water type moves by 20%. Remember now? Its base stats are, well, it's actually pretty good, honestly. Attack, defense, and speed are pretty high, making it so that, well, a lot of its moves are mostly physical, honestly, so makes sense. It's weak to a few things, well, actually pretty much the same as the previous ones, which are grass and electric, and are resistant to steel, fire, water, and ice. So pretty good. Pretty good. All the water types seem to be pretty good. Then I remembered them at least. It evolves at level 33 to Sea King. Not that bad, honestly. Its ability is a Swift Swim and Water Veil. Swift Swim, well, I think at this point we know what it does. Double speed in rain and Water Veil. The target can't be burned. I mean, what do you expect? It's a Water Veil. At last I checked, you can't burn me. And also its hidden ability, which makes it actually better than most of the water types that I've been saying. It literally can now take electric type attacks without taking damage and increases its own special attack. Water types are known to have good special moves, so increasing special attack when its special attack is that low is actually a blessing in disguise. And yeah, so that was the bios for the 4 areas of the wild area.